what would you, as like this very successful mom and business person, want to communicate to everybody clicking on right now and listening?
You don't have to be the smartest for sure, because I'm definitely not the smartest person at my company. A lot of my success comes from persistence on a given course.
Okay.
You know, junkyard dog kind of not letting go of the pant leg kind of thing. You know, there are a lot of things I can impart that I probably do differently than a lot of people that are, you know, unorthodox things that perhaps can help somebody figure out. I mean, I'm a high school dropout. I don't know if you know that. So you definitely
No, but that's amazing. Me too.
you don't need formal education to do this. You do have to have a pretty big heart and really like people. That
Right.
helps a lot.
So actually, what is your company and what do you do?
My company is called PostcardMania. It's a pretty full service marketing company, primarily for small businesses, small to medium sized businesses. We started out doing direct mail using postcards, and we grew with the marketing world as new marketing avenues and channels became available to smaller businesses. They're confusing, so we try to unconfuse all of that for small businesses, make it affordable, and help them get as many new leads and new business as possible. Our mission really is to help the overall economy via small businesses, since they're such a major part of the economy. Like, you figure if every small business marketed enough to need to hire more people, then we'd have no employment issues, or unemployment issues, I should say.
Right. That's a very good point. So why was doing marketing like so important for you when you started this? Because you started this like 30 years ago, right?
27. Yeah.
27. Okay.
Yeah. Well, basically, I had to figure out how to get business in. So I'm kind of self-taught marketing. Started my own direct mail to get my own leads. And then as I learned more and more, I started producing a blog, although the word blog didn't exist yet. I just started writing articles and putting them on my website. And eventually we had so much content on our website that we turned it into a book. And the book is now finally on Audible too. And it's
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, it's called Postcard Marketing in an Online World. I think it says Success Simplified or something like that. I don't know the little.
I'll find it.
I should have it here and hold it up. Wait, I could go grab it.
Yeah, cool.
I think I see one on my bookshelf. There it is.
Postcard marketing in an online world. Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up. I'm going to ask about that in a second. So what was your impetus to start your company 27 years ago?
I didn't want my kids in the public school system in Clearwater, Florida. So I had to figure out how to make money to pay for private school. That was it. After that, I was, born out of necessity.
Oh, wow.
I was living next to this really cool lady who was a designer, but she wasn't like a graphic designer for marketing material. She designs like the patterns on dishes or blankets and that kind of thing. And we became friends when my kids were really little. And she taught me, I went to the High School of Art and Design, so I already had like an art background. So she taught me layout the old-fashioned way, cutting and pasting and moving around with using like rubber glue. So it's not really rubber glue, but something like that, so that you could move pieces around. And she just continued my education on design. And then my dad, I had babies, and my dad bought me a computer, a desktop computer, so I could teach myself. I think it was Microsoft. I can't remember what it's called anymore. The Microsoft had like a page maker type.
Like 93, 90, 95, whatever was happening in that.
Like some program that came with Microsoft.
Yeah.
So I taught myself that, and then I worked for a local printer. And anyway, then I just started taking on my own clients for graphic design. And then I realized that most small businesses didn't know anything about printing. And I knew a lot about printing because I worked for 2 different printers when I was younger. So I started brokering printing, and that's kind of how it started. That wasn't PostcardMania per se, but that's how this industry.
So I was reading online that your company, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because it's whatever, it's the internet, but you have now, so it went from you, and now you've built it up to like 300 staff. And apparently last year your company made your highest ever of 120 million. This is what it says on the internet.
So we were up to just about almost 400 staff.
Wow.
Yeah, I think the highest we were at was 395, but we're down to like 383 or something. Like we're always trying to automate different things so that we don't have to have bodies on everything. So if people leave, we don't have to like hire somebody else. We're like, how can we automate that?
Okay.
Yeah, so it's about 383, and I think we did 119 million last year, and we should do about the same this year. We haven't grown this year, but top line anyway. Yeah.
Okay, I understand. That's amazing. That's amazing. But it's not all postcards, because I was gonna ask, like, how do you do that in 2025 with postcards?
We still print quite a lot of postcards. It is a huge part of our revenue is direct mail, but we now combine direct mail with online ads and have it be a really contiguous campaign so that, person seeing the ad on Facebook and getting the postcard mail and seeing it on YouTube and seeing all the various other platforms knows that it's all the same company and the same offer. Yeah.
That makes sense. It's all branded the same for your.
Yeah. And the same offer and the same message, pushing the same buttons so that, people see it and they know what it is and make sure it looks like, it goes to a page specifically that continues the communication that whatever that ad is started. So we've made that really affordable for small businesses. Normally for them to do that, they'd have to go to several different agencies.
Oh, okay.
Or do it themselves. And then it's very disjointed and they're just like boosting ads and they don't know what they're doing. So
yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
And how did you do this as a mom with two small kids? How did you arrange life at the beginning? Because they were young at the time when you started, right?
They were young. I just had an extra bedroom in my house and I always had like a live-in nanny so that I had somebody there. That was in the beginning. And then I just always had help at the house so that when the kids came home, there was somebody there. But I remember this one time I was driving to meet a client that was driving in from Orlando. And I got a call from my kid's school and the guy was very like chill. He was like, hey, James got bitten by a dog. He's crying. He's upset about it. We're going to take him over to the walk-in clinic. And I literally hung up thinking, oh, well, it seems like it's under control. I'll just go meet my client. I was like, no, my son's probably really upset. I better go see him and not see the client. And he was pretty upset. He still has a nice scar from that.
Oh, wow.
Into the walk-in clinic and blood all over my dress. I couldn't see the client anyway at that point. So it was definitely a juggle. And I feel like it definitely set my kids up to see what hard work looks like. And sure that, and because we were so broke when they were little, I really did not spoil them. As I started to make money, I made them work for every single thing. And that's worked out really well because they're both very hard workers now as, grown-ass men. Yeah.
I love that. That's a great point. Because I think about my kids and I love to not spoil them, but if they want something, I buy it. And they're trying to sell me their artwork and I'll buy their artwork from them.
That's a good thing to do, to buy their artwork.
Yeah.
They really got like Christmas and birthdays and that's it. Like they did not get stuff in the middle of the year. So
that's pretty good to know. It's good advice.
Yeah. So get a job, or like chores or something. They had to work for everything. I feel like I try to talk about certain things with the kids. You can put in any new habit with your kids in 3 days. As long as you stick to your guns. As long as you stick to your guns, you can put in any new habit that you want in 3 days.
And how do you do that?
You just tell them, first you tell them that it's going to be happening. And then when the day finally comes, even if they're mad and upset about it, like when it becomes daylight savings and bed is super light out and all their friends are still outside playing. It's like in 3 days, they're like dead to the world. They're fine. They just go to sleep or, no, you're not getting a phone until you're a certain age or whatever the thing is. And you just have to not engage in anything that's not real communication. At that age, my 2 years apart. So at 7 and 9, you can ignore anything that's not like normal communication.
That is great advice.
And then I was really good at this, and this is probably not great advice, but I was really good at just like cutting off my love vibe to them. Like if they were being bad or I would just be like cold as ice, And then I would always get apologies. They would want to make up the damage, like just to get back in my good graces. Like my good graces was all they wanted. So
they want the love and they want the affinity.
Exactly. And I was like, well, I'm not really feeling it right now because you were just a little, jerk.
you were mentioning at the beginning of our conversation that you do things differently. You dropped out of high school and maybe you do things unconventionally in your company that other people wouldn't do. What are some of those things that you do?
Well, one of the things is I spend a lot of money on marketing and I don't sweat spending money. Like even at the very beginning, I did not, first of all, I had a very low overhead at the time because we didn't have any money. So we had very low overhead. So I paid myself last and I was in it for the long haul. I wasn't looking for instant gratification financially. I knew that I was going to build something. So I was fine on salespeople making more money than me. I was fine on putting the lion's share of whatever came in the door into marketing. And if I did something marketing wise and it didn't get us a great result, I didn't sweat that either. Which I can tell you, I do 2 growth summits a year with my customers, with my clients, and my clients sweat it. Like if you sell them marketing and it doesn't get them a whole new business, they are very upset. So, which is why we try to educate small businesses on marketing and how it works and how one campaign, one time isn't going to really change your life. It's a momentum that builds, I mean, we mail out for ourselves. We mail about 3 million postcards a week overall, for maybe 4 million, but for ourselves, mail about 225,000 pieces every single week for PostcardMania. And I started out mailing 1,000 pieces a week 27 years ago, upped it to 2,500 pieces, upped it to 5,000 pieces, until now we're doing 225,000 pieces every single week. That's expensive. That's very
right.
Like I spend over $100,000 a week on marketing.
Your own personal marketing for Postcard Marketing.
Okay. My company. So that's like for small business, like obviously we were a tiny business when we started and we're a little bit bigger now, but we're still considered a small business. And that's very unconventional. Most small business owners don't look at their marketing budget as something that has to be done every single solitary week. It's very all over the place. So that's like probably the biggest thing that's unconventional about me from the get-go.
That's amazing. What does your CFO say?
I have my
because that was
I'm finance and she doesn't have any say over how the money is spent at all. I have a consultant that's very successful. I don't know if you've ever heard of Brandon Marion.
I have heard of that name, but I don't know why. Okay.
Well, he's great. And he has I used to have a CFO for hire and that for 10 years. And I realized that he didn't tell me if he just made everything work for us to give it to the CPAs for taxes. He didn't advise me on how to spend money. So I spend how I see fit and I make sure that I put money in reserves every single solitary week, just like I spend on marketing every week. Not as much. I wish I could put that much in reserves every week, but I can't.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. I wonder if people with small businesses, they're concerned on spending money on marketing and then that's holding them back.
100%. They feel like I used to get all this business from word of mouth and I used to be able to do this and that. And now businesses trickle off, and they don't realize that they have to put a budget in place and have a program going all the time so that leads are constantly streaming in.
Yeah, that makes sense. So do you specialize in any specific niches or it's just small businesses? You reach out and contact small businesses?
I would say there's probably 50 industries that we market to directly. A lot of the home services industries.
Okay.
Landscaping, house painting, plumbers, air conditioning and heating, all of remodelers, all of those types of businesses. Plus we're big in real estate and mortgage and all the medical practices, dental, cosmetic surgeries, med spas, gyms, spas, a lot of education. So it's really kind of all over the map. And there are a lot of B2B, even software companies, business to business companies use us too.
Nice. Yeah, when I worked in a dental office, I think we actually used your postcards to send out the little reminders. Yeah. Let's see. So you're a CEO of this huge company, 400 staff. How do you keep your health in order? How do you keep your body in order and stay sane amongst all of that?
First of all, I'm not that busy anymore because I know, I have an incredible executive team that have been with me. The president of my company has been with me for 27 years. Yeah. And then my next 2 senior execs that are my confidants, my chief revenue officer and my chief marketing officer have both been with me 21 years. So, and then my COO has been with me for 22 22 or 23 years. His wife, who he met here, has been with me over 20 years. She's my VP corporate sales. My VP sales has been with me 20 something years. I mean, they just stay. These people stick around and they're really good at their jobs and they're like real stable terminals. So I am not that busy. So I take, and I'll tell you something. I always took care of number one. I always took care of myself and put myself first so that I would be a better boss, be a better mom, be a better wife. So
And what did you do to keep yourself, to take care of yourself?
well, I always had help with the kids so that I
Okay.
could go out and see friends and that kind of thing. And I love riding my bike. And so I would get up really early in the morning to do that when I was working more, but now I can do it in the cool weather. I can wait until a normal hour.
Sure.
You know, and I just travel and have a good life and give myself fun times. I like to create fun experiences for myself with my husband, with my friends, with my kids. Yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, that's good to know, because sometimes you hear these podcasts of like these huge CEOs of these huge companies. They're waking up at 4 a.m. I mean, I wake up like that time anyways, but waking up at 4 a.m. they've got a very specific routine and it's like the whole day is like super tight, and you know what I mean?
I mean, that sometimes it's a little bit like very intense. Maybe last year in Q4 was very intense for me, just prepping for the new year. And then the beginning of Q1 is busier, but for the most part, I'm looking for things to do. And they want me to just keep my nose out of it, you know? Well, I mean, I don't know. They look to me for certain leadership things and guidance. I mean, we've gotten really heavily into technology lately. So we call it the area of platform development, and we have several softwares that are, you know, adjacent to my business that we've developed. And that's from me, you know, pushing on that side of things.
Okay, that makes sense. What about, you mentioned like automation and whatnot, but you do have a ton of staff. You have like close to 400 staff, but do you guys implement recently? AI is like real big. Do you use AI and whatnot?
We do use it to help with imagery for the designs and with copywriting, but you need a human to edit it and make sure it's exactly right. We keep trying new AI softwares to see if there's anything. Right now, what we're doing internally is we want to use AI to take all the notes from the sales part of the consultation and make sure those are duplicated properly to the delivery side. Right now, it's very manual, how the salesperson has to type it all up and everything. So that's the first thing that we're doing internally to utilize AI, but we do use it for copy and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I understand. I was just curious because I hear these podcasts and I'm like, you hear businesses that are make $1 million and there's 5 people and they use AI. And I'm like, but I'd rather have humans have work, like you were saying.
You know, I'll tell you something. We have somebody answer the phone when you call. Like, we're not even using AI for that. We don't use AI for our live chat. We really do like the human touch here. And I think it's why we're doing so well, because marketing is a very sensitive subject. Business owners are very sensitive about it. They're emotional about it. So they need humans, you know, people who care about their spend. So we're not leaning to try to take jobs away from humans in any way, except for we can automate. Like, there's just certain things internally that we can do that, you know, certain quality control checks and things that we can automate. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. And I understand the copy, it makes it a lot faster. Copywriter, and they can use the AI and make it faster and then get the copy.
Exactly. It can also read the customer's entire website and give you like points that the customer, you know, and without you having just kind of bullet out what their whole website's about too. So that can come up with what you want to say.
Is there any other specific things that you say you do differently in your company compared to other companies that might be useful to somebody else?
Yes, probably. When I turn a job over to somebody, I completely turn it over and I do not micromanage. And if one of my executives does something differently than I would have liked it to be done or differently than I would have done it, I just keep my mouth shut about it, because I would rather them have autonomy and take full responsibility for their job than worry that Joy is going to think it's a bad idea or Joy doesn't like it or something like that. So there have been times when I've just been, okay, well, I wouldn't have done it that way, but I just kind of keep my mouth shut. And that's why I'm able to not really work that much anymore, because if you allow a person to fully own their post, they'll stay for a long time and they'll do the very best job they can. So, you know, and I don't want to say they're not money motivated. They are. Like my senior exec team gets paid buco money, but they didn't in the beginning. You know,
Right.
they took on more and more responsibility and got to a point where that was worth it to me. But having them fully own their role without me having to tell them what to do, you know, complain about how they do something, I think is a big deal and is very different from other CEOs.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. But what if there was like some huge error? Do you correct that?
Well, I'll tell you, just as a story, when I only had 18 staff, I had a gal who mailed the wrong, here's 2 mailings with 2 mailing lists and 2 sets of postcards, and she mixed them up.
Oops.
Yeah. And it cost me like $5,000 in postage because I don't know exactly what the cost was to reprint the cards, but we had to redo the mailing and it was $5,000 in postage. And that was a lot of money for me back then.
Yeah.
And I just looked at her reaction to it. She beat herself up so badly. There was no reason for me to say a word about it. I said, great,
Yeah.
let's put in some kind of checklist or policy here so that, you know, this doesn't happen again. And she wound up working for me for 18 years. So, you know, it's like if I would have jumped down her throat, there was no need for it. And I think that's, you know, it's funny because my husband, once my sister worked for him once a long time ago, she works for me now, but he needed to handle something with her. And he was like, I need you to be there, honey, because I might keep telling her like over and over again, like how I go, okay, I'll sit there. And then I was like, okay, she got it. She already said she got it. You know, so I'm pretty good at just like, you know, being.
And maybe that's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's enough. You observe that it happened. They are taking responsibility for it.
Yeah.
And then they correct.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool. Not micromanaging and just letting them do their jobs.
Exactly.
Because I also see on Facebook, you guys are always hiring.
We are always hiring, mostly sales, but we're
Okay.
people do leave, you know, the lower level positions. I'm not on the hiring lines anymore, but I can tell you that all the executives that work for me, I hired. I'm really personally good at hiring, just good at figuring out where a person's at and what their intentions are and whether they're a good fit. And I'll hire someone and not know what I'm going to do with them if they're a really good fit.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
And they're still there, all of them. So
Yeah.
that makes sense. So I'm curious, like, if there was some other mom or dad or just person out there and they're like, I'm broke, I need to do something. What advice would you give to them?
Well, I probably tell them to ask ChatGPT or, you know, just I'm seeing people online that are just doing what ChatGPT says to make money and it seems to be working. You know, find something that you enjoy doing. I feel like if you find something that is enjoyable to you, I was an artist, so I never thought I would be a CEO or run a business. But then when I realized that, I'm actually really good at handling people and I'm really good at sales, which I didn't know I was going to be good at sales, but I'm really good at sales. Like I can close. So, you know, if you enjoy something and you can figure out how it actually helps someone, then start there and figure out how you can monetize it.
Awesome. That's great advice. How can you help somebody and how can you make money?
Exactly.
That's awesome. I want to see. So this podcast originated because I wanted to talk about the carnivore diet because I'm obsessed with that way of eating. It just helped me a lot. And like I don't know if you experienced this we're now being a mom and working actually. So I had 2 babies back to back, kind of like you. I was nursing my second one for 3.5 years. She wouldn't sleep at night. I was up all night and then working during the day. Anyways, my body was really crazy after years, no period, blah, blah, blah. Like feeling very good, feeling very bad in the same day. And then a lot of body issues. So anyone who comes to the carnivore diet with a huge story. That's really like, and so within 3 days, I felt like a sane human being, a sane person again, after getting out all the junk. And I'm curious, like, do you have any specific way that you've managed your health with relationship to food, or you're just lucky and can eat whatever you want?
I wish. I basically do something called intuitive eating. Have you ever heard of that?
It sounds like the way to get your baby to eat solid food.
It's basically like you only eat if you're hungry.
Okay.
And you don't eat beyond hunger. So
Okay.
Sometimes it's just a few bites of something and then you're no longer hungry. You don't wait till you're full. You just wait till you've handled hunger. And that way I can eat whatever I want. I don't eat gluten. I don't eat, like when I say carbs, bad carbs. Like I don't eat a ton of rice or pasta or bread. I don't eat any bread. So I'm by default, I kind of eat healthy. And I feel like the older I got, the more in communication with my body and what it wants. So I did intuitive eating just to keep weight off so that I wouldn't be like, a big blob. So, and that's worked really, really well for me, just eating small amounts but I always eat whole foods. I eat organic. I mean, I'm a little bit, I lean in that direction, just
like the crunchy mom sort of direction. Is that what it's called these days?
yeah, almond mom. I think they're called almond. Yeah.
Oh, almond moms. That's so funny.
Yeah.
What do you think about like bacon, eggs, steak, things like this?
I love those things. I love bacon. I love eggs. I love steak.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Definitely eat meat. I just don't think I could ever like not have an apple if I wanted it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I think it's also personal. Like I don't care. I've never really cared for fruit. So
yeah. So then I just like a balance of, fruits and vegetables and eggs and meat and butter and all the good yummy things too. Yeah. One of my best friend eats carnivore and she makes her own yogurt and she does all that. Do you know Cynthia Taylor?
No, but I should talk to her. I should talk to her about carnivore.
It's like, she's done like she'll go, like I remember when she was doing she was being vegan for a while.
Yeah.
That was terrible. And then now she says she goes, to the extreme on trying things, but she's been doing this for a while.
That's so funny. Yeah. I can't do vegetables. I tried for a really long time. Never vegan, but it ate the whole body upset. The body did not like it. Funny though. It should be like, you think it's like the healthiest food. This is what I've been told for many, many years, but who knows?
Yeah. I mean, I like a balance of foods, so.
Yeah. Good.
Don't like to obsess on any one.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing also to not obsess. And it's amazing to not obsess about a body.
It's true. But that's what I feel like the intuitive eating has done for me. Like before intuitive eating, I was either on a diet and I was pissed, or I knew I was going to be on a diet soon. So it's like eat really badly because I was going to be on a diet soon. And my whole like world revolved around what I was going to eat and being guilty about whatever I ate. Anyway, it was terrible. So now I don't even think about it. I eat when I'm home.
That's great. Do you do fasting then, like specifically, or?
I kind of naturally intermittent fast, but like I probably not eat until noon usually, and I'm usually by 7. But I'm not like trying to intermittent fast. If I got hungry, I would eat.
Okay, that makes sense.
Business wise, I probably could say if you're a business owner and you want to grow your business, you need to market a lot more than you think is a normal or sane amount. You have to go to this extreme on it. And that's when you'll get the inflow of leads and business. And it works. I could show you graphs of how much we outflow versus how much we inflow. And they just match each other year over year over year. So,
wow, that's great. So go to ChatGPT, ask them what you should do to make money in alignment with what you like to do. How can you monetize that and then spend a ton of money on yourself?
Exactly.
And then it'll come back to you.
Exactly.
Okay, that's a good little recap. I'm going to use that for myself.
I mean, in the beginning, Melissa, my president, now she was an assistant back then.
Yeah.
We would get a lead and we would literally drive to the business and be like, hi, we saw you were interested. We're going to like sign you up. And, and we'd drive and pick up $360 or something. And it's just so funny now. And now we get over 3,000 brand spanking new leads every single week from businesses reaching into us. We don't do anything.
Wow.
I mean, we follow up.
Your salespeople follow up. Okay.
Yeah, we actually have a lead activation unit that receives the lead. If somebody fills out a form, most of them are form fill-ins. They get them on the phone within 5 minutes and then hot pass them over to a marketing consultant. And that's what happens with most of the leads. Probably about 550 of those turn into like a phone call. And then the others are on an email, trying to get them to talk to somebody on the phone because it's a consultative. So yeah, so after all these years, it's all pretty systemized and I don't have to go pick up checks anywhere.
Driving 2 hours, like
right.
you're.
Did you want to market with postcards? We're here to get your money.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Oh, I love that for you. I love what you've created and what you've done. It's like very inspiring.
Thank you.
And this conversation is inspiring. Like,
what else can I do? Yeah.
Yeah. What else can I be doing?
Well, it was very nice talking with you.
Nice talking with you too. Thank you so much. It's been
Oh, if anybody wants to check out PostcardMania,
I'm so sorry.
it's postcardmania.com.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to talk to me or has a question, they can email me at joy.gendusa@postcardmania.com. Yeah, joy.gendusa is GENDUSA. And yeah, anyway, I love helping small businesses.
Awesome. And then do you do consultations, or you'll just get on the phone? and
I'll just email back and forth with someone and then talk to them if, if they're doing something I think is, wow, I want to help them, So I'll base how much I feel like doing it that day.
Awesome.
I'll answer everybody.
I love that. That's all right, Joy. Thank you so much.